Okay, so your final project. I finally have it up. There are two things you're going to need. You are going to need the population data spreadsheet, and then you either can get the other information from the Google Doc, or if you prefer PDFs, I downloaded all three tabs as the PDFs. So these three PDFs are the same as what's in the Google Doc. So if you click on the population data spreadsheet, it's going to come up for you saying, hey, copy document. So you're going to make a copy. When you do that, it says right here, save with your name and share with me if you do any work on the spreadsheet. So you would change the data to your name so that if you share it with me, I know whose it is rather than having to go back and try to figure it out. But what this is it's all of the cases from a website of the data in 2023, COVID data by state, the number of COVID cases reported, the number of deaths from COVID, and then the population of that state. Down at the bottom, there are some tabs with sources in case you want to know where I got the information. And then there's also a blank sheet if you want to use this area to copy and paste data for your sample. You can do whatever you want with your copy of the sheet. So you can copy and paste populations over here. Quick things, if you click and drag, you can use information up here in the top. There's a table button, like it looks like a little graph for insert chart. You are welcome to use that spreadsheet. Just if you do any work in here, you also, because you're making a copy, can do work right on this page. Share it with me. So if you hit share, and then just if you put mine, elizabeth.r.ross@maine.edu, and then share it with me as either a viewer, an editor, whatever you choose, then I can see exactly what you did. That'll send me an email saying you shared it with me. You can put the link when you submit it. That's completely up to you. But then I can see exactly what you did without you having to add it later. The benefit of this is, let's say your sample is the first 10 states. It won't be, but let's say it is. You can just copy, so click and drag, right click, copy, and then right click, paste. Now your sample's right here for whatever work you do. You don't have to do that, but it's an option. If you'd rather write it down and do it on paper and just send me pictures of the paper or type that in a Word document, whatever's easier for you is fine. But this is going to be the population for your project. The same thing's going to happen with the Google Doc. If you click Google Doc, it'll pop up saying, hey, should I make a copy? Absolutely make a copy. Save it with your name so that I know it's yours. Share it with me. Now, there's 3 tabs over here on the left. The first one is the questions. This is your project. If you make a copy, you can type your answers right here in the project. Some people like doing that. Other people don't. Other people prefer to write. You can take this and print. The 3 PDFs are these 3 tabs. So, project PDF is the questions. Score sheet PDF is this score sheet. This is how I'm going to grade you. And then the notes PDF over here, these are some hints, which I'm going to go over in a second. So the questions, these are the way it's going to go. This is also a link to the project data at the top. I think that might take you directly to the same information. Don't work on this one. It's the same numbers. It doesn't matter, but you'll have your copy the same way you did before. Okay, so the project data, part 1, population information. It says population, so you're going to use that first tab, all of the information to answer those questions. So it asks you about the data in the population. Any questions on there? So while you work on those 11 questions, you can ask. It's not a test, so it's a project. You can look things up, you can ask me questions, but the answers are based on this data in here. So don't go Googling data, because if you use like current information in the world, it's not going to be right. It's based on this data set. So that's part one. You can put your answers right here on this paper. You can write them on a separate piece of paper. You can do that however you want. What's going to happen is you also can write them on the score sheet if you prefer. I'm going to then use this score sheet to answer. So if you put your answer here, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine. I'm going to have a score sheet. Or if you had shared this with me, I'll do it right on yours so you can see. And then I'll put in here, if you get it right, I'll put the points you earned. If you get it wrong, I'll put feedback on the score sheet. If you shared it with me, I'll do it right on the one you shared. If you didn't, I'll have a printout copy that I'll send I'll send a picture back to you. So you'll know exactly what you did or didn't do right. So that's how you'll get your feedback. Part 2 is sample information. So it wants you to find a random sample of 10 states. But look down here at part B. This is which is important. Which type of sample did you choose? So we're not doing a convenience sample. Please do not do a convenient sample. Do stratified, do systematic, do one of the samples we talked about back in the first unit. Then tell me, how did you choose the sample? Explain your process so that I can go through and make sure if you told me you did a stratified sample, that you actually did a stratified sample. Then tell me the states that were in your sample, because in order for me to check all your numerical answers, I have to then go and take your sample and do the math. So you're going to tell me your states, and then you're going to answer all these questions based on your sample. So part 2 is based on your own sample. Then part 3 is the normal distribution. So that's norm CDF or norm PDF, or the formulas that go with that based on your sample. So you're not going back to the population, you're doing your sample. So that's part 3. And then part 4 is hypothesis testing. So that's the thing we're currently working on. You're going to do 3 hypothesis tests where part 1 is your population. And then you're going to compare that to whatever it's telling you to compare it to. So you're going to do 3 hypothesis tests, and based on what it's asking you, you're going to answer those questions. So that's the project. It's literally just a final compilation of everything we've talked about. Populations versus samples, looking at some of those probabilities, and then doing some hypothesis tests. The score sheet shows you exactly how many points each question's worth. And then the notes. This is what some people like. Some people like working in spreadsheets. The calculator stuff we've done all along. So in the questions, it asks you how to do things. On the notes, it tells you, reminds you how to do them on the calculator, or explains how to do it right on the spreadsheet. Now, I didn't teach you how to do them on the spreadsheet as we went. I taught you how to do them on the calculator, but if you want to do them on the spreadsheet, the directions are here in the notes. So how to find the total, how to find the mean, how to find the standard deviation. It explains how to do them on both the calculator and the spreadsheet. You don't have to do both. You can pick one. It's completely up to you which way you choose. Sometimes there's not like an easy way on the calculator, so that one's blank. That's okay. Sometimes there's not an easy way on Google Sheets that I know of. So that's kind of on there. There may be ways, I just don't know them off the top of my head. But you have that there as a reference. So you are welcome to use that on the project. So you have those 3 things. Again, they're also in there as the PDF. The big thing about the project is anything you do, submit it. So if you do some of it on the computer and some of it by hand, submit everything. If you share it with me because you did a Google Doc, then that counts as submitting it. You don't have to share it with me and submit a picture, but share the Google Doc with me and then submit a picture of everything you write down. That's fine. Send me the parts. It's due by the end of the course, which is August 14th. You can always submit it early. You can submit the whole thing at once, or you can submit the parts as you go by sending me an email and saying, hey, I have part 1 done. Can you check that? That's also fine. Either way is up to you. But instead of a final exam, this project is more realistic. This is what people do in the real world with stats. So that's your quick overview of the project. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, the Google Doc or the PDFs, they're the same exact thing. It's just your preference, how you prefer to work. So good luck, and let me know if you need any help. Thanks.